Welcome to a Lamborghini rendering demo. This video is 7.5 minutes long, much longer than my normal demos, so I'm going to go ahead and give a bit of voiceover. Here's a quick look at the finished product. Okay, that was a very quick look at the finished product. And here's my gravity sketch line drawing, well, rather surface model. I did just a rendering effect in Rhino to give that simple black and white, almost coloring book design. And the first couple steps here, I'm just messing around, just pushing values, dark and light, maybe a little color. Here I've decided, okay, yellow, it's going to be a yellow Lamborghini. Lamborghini was the first car that I ever saw when I was little that I remember thinking, wow, cars are beautiful. It was a Bertone 80s Countach, and this thing just looked like something from a different planet, and I fell in love with it. So here we go, we're pushing the yellow, and what you'll see is everything's done on a layer. So I'll just throw a new layer in, and I'll kind of mask out a surface that I know I want to light up. You can see I'm literally doing it in pink, and then I just use that as a mask. And what I do is I'll zoom out, look at the whole car, think about where the focus of this rendering is going to be, and I will then drop that surface in, drop that mask in, and then light it up by pulling local color and just blowing in soft airbrush to build the volumes out on the surfaces. What I haven't really figured out at this point in the rendering are the black lines. Black lines, it can be a nice effect, more illustration, but I like really saturated renderings, and so what I'm doing here is I'm actually working in these surfaces and painting over the black lines. So the black lines start to disappear and you end up with just the color and the surfaces and not lines. I'm actually trying to define this form with the surfaces and not with the lines. I already did the work in Gravity Sketch, thinking about the surfaces, building the surfaces out. And so it's a lot of fun to airbrush in these surfaces and these volumes. Putting a little detail here for the wheels. Wheels are free contrast. You get lots of black and white in a wheel, so you'll see I push that further later in the rendering. And again, I'll zoom out and look at this thing full screen to get a sense of where is the focus supposed to be in this rendering. I don't want to spend a lot of time rendering the headlight in this view. I don't want to spend a lot of time rendering the wheels in this view. I really want to focus on the A-pillar to the greenhouse over the driver, and ultimately the top of the car. You see there I just did a full screen effect where I blurred the drawing and only allowed the part of the drawing in the middle of the composition to be sharp. Here I am throwing in a little bit of interior indication. I paint it out really hard on a layer, and then I turn that layer up and down until it looks right. The body side is looking pretty rendered out at this point, which makes the rest of the drawing look a little flat. The fins and the top of the car look flat, and you can see I jump over to the fins and the top side of the car there to really try and round it out. And what I'm realizing is something has to happen directly on top of the greenhouse. I chose this view, and at this point I'm realizing this is not about the body side, which ironically I spent a lot of time designing the body side and all this crazy surface movement on the body side, but in this view I'm actually responsible for telling the story about the greenhouse, the front glass, the A-pillar, and the hood. And so at this point I realize, okay, I need to do some sort of treatment on top of the car. So what I'll do is I throw in this mask. You see me building it in pink just to indicate where that is, and then boom. Now I see where some of the interest is going to be. More indication of the interior, roughly sketched out on a layer, and then tuned down. More interior, again, push and pull, push and pull. Glass is transparent, but also reflective, so you just have some very interesting effects with glass. You want to just spend time looking at beautiful photos of cars to understand exactly how this works. And I'm also starting to realize that the black lines from my original image are kind of distracting. You see I've just pulled in an actual photo of a motor there, drawing in the vent. I just do one and then copy it out. That's my venting over the motor. more glass reflection. I didn't like it, so I turned it way down. The cut lines on the front of the car are kind of bothering me. The general design in the front of the car is bothering me, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Detailing out the fins, really pushing the contrast in the back. And again, I'm zooming in, zooming out, kind of feeling where my eye goes in the drawing. And what's bothering me is that the the nose of the car is flattening out. And I realize, let's put some windshield wiper indication with a cool centrally mounted structure, some fantasy structure, some shadows under those top fins. And then you see I've just painted over that center line in the front, which helps a lot. And I'm throwing in the trunk lid in the front, some parting lines, a little bit of indication for the headlights. And I leave it. I don't do too much indication on the headlights because that's not the focus area of the car. Again, the focus area is the window, the center line along the roof. And now I'm throwing in some white highlights to really burn that contrast out to make it even more dramatic. I painted in a layer, soft erase away. Little highlight on the back secondary fin. And we're kind of wrapping it up. The reward for all this hard work of shading these volumes, dark and light, dark and light. There we go, blur effect. The reward at the end is that in one very quick step, I'm going to drop in reflections by drawing them on with a lasso tool, duplicating them. You'll see that just pop up pretty quick here in a second. The reflections are coming in 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, maybe not now. Anyway, you'll see all the reward for all of this shading to make it look shiny. There we go. Here come the shiny parts. The glass, and then the sheet metal. There it is. That's it. And so, I've done a blur effect. I've erased away the blur in the middle to sharpen the focus. And that's it. We can talk about the fine steps in class tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.